The New York mayoral race it keeps getting better.
The candidates running to be New York City's mayor hit the campaign trail this weekend.
It was a busy weekend. The stunts pulled from range from new to odd to sticking with tradition. They were even trying to lift weights. Trying being the key word there, Robert Moses. What's going on in your department this week?
Yeah, Dan and Tishani, they are all running for a weighty job, if you'll pardon the pun. Which the mayor pointed out. Now, the front runner in this race, Zohran Mamdani, this morning in about 4 hours from now, will be joining elected officials in Brooklyn to issue a call to make McGinnis safe, as in McGinnis Boulevard. That street may sound familiar because, according to an indictment, Ingrid Lewis Martin, who is a close advisor to Mayor Eric Adams, took bribes from 2 Brooklyn business owners in exchange for her working to convince transportation officials to scuttle a plan to redesign McGinnis Boulevard. Hundreds of people turned out yesterday for a scavenger hunt that Mamdani organized. In announcing the hunt, he trolled the mayor by eating from a bag of hers sour cream and onion potato chips. You'll remember that Winnie Greco, a fundraiser for the mayor last week, handed a reporter an envelope of cash inside a bag of the same brand and flavor of chips. While he didn't take questions from reporters yesterday, Mamdani did speak about the scavenger hunt and how he hopes it taught New Yorkers something about the city where they live.
Politics is not something that you have, it is something that you do. It can take you from a screen to a sidewalk.
All right, we alluded to this earlier. On Saturday in Brooklyn, Mamdani struggled to bench press without assistance, which led Mayor Adams to dub him Zohran Mamskrani. In this split-screen post on X, the mayor says of Mamdani, quote, "The only thing he can lift is your taxes."
We knew his policies were weak, but we didn't think...
Bro, I love the New York mayoral race because it's like the controversy meter is like Andrew Cuomo hired active neo-Nazi as his meme czar. Eric Adams was caught bribing journalists. Oh, thank you so much. It's beautiful. I got to give. The gifts keep coming. This is amazing. Yeah, I see that. That's sick. But then when it comes down to like Mamdani, they're like, Mamdani was unable to convincingly lift 135 pounds. It's like, that's not a dog. That's not a controversy. What politician is lifting massive weights anyway? Who gives a shit? Like, it's so crazy that because he has nothing going on, that they just have to actively, in an act of final desperation, they have to find anything they possibly can. It's so stupid. It's so goddamn dumb. They're like, oh, well, Eric Adams was indicted on corruption charges. And then the Trump administration basically dropped his case in order to force him to collaborate with the Trump administration and let ICE in against like New York State and New York City rules. Andrew Cuomo, also known as cop rapist, has sexually harassed numerous women, sexually assaulted numerous women, and had to resign in disgrace, killed grandparents during COVID and hid the numbers. And then you got Mamdani, who like took a desk from a student group in college and didn't return it in time. I don't know. I know that I'm not supposed to, I don't want to like bring this back to myself, but I can't help but notice similarities between like, you know, people that I'm constantly finding myself at odds with and their horrifying crimes, and how little people care about that sort of thing, as opposed to what they perceive what I'm doing as a major crime, which is like the purchasing of a house for myself and my family, or a lease on a car. Meanwhile, my enemies are out here. That's right. You're such a victim. No, I just like that similar dynamic exists for all progressives is what I mean. And it's escalated. It's elevated when you're like also Muslim too, but that's it. But that you can literally look at that and you see that double standard everywhere. I even see this double standard with like the Democratic Party versus the Republican Party. If any average Democrat behaved in a way that like the average Republican behaves, they would get destroyed. They would get killed. Okay. Always and forever. That double standard is like baked into the collective consciousness. of American existence. Okay, it's just like, oh, are you even remotely like? Are you marginally on the progressive side of things? Are you saying that we are capable of bettering society by like 1%? Well, f you piece of shit. That means you're an evil villain. You're the villain, actually, not the guys on the other side that are openly communicating that they are villains. Okay, victim, bros, people working 24/7 at lying about him. I know that's not my victimhood is nothing, and it ultimately doesn't matter. I'm trying to expose and highlight the double standard that exists in general for everything. It doesn't. You don't even have to look at this from the framework of politics. There are people who are not political commentators, right? I know you're being critical of the guy, but he's right. I shouldn't have used the word victimhood because I'm not a victim. Listen, think about it this way, even from the perspective of content creators, right? Like content creators who simply say like, maybe we should be kind to one another, right? And then you got a million people being like, oh, be kind to one another. Well, I'm going to negatively frame something that you did that everyone else has done a million times worse and act like you're inconsistent with the values that you're presenting. You don't even have to be a political person. They like lose their minds over it, where they're like, if anyone is just like, hey, why don't we be nice? They'll turn around and present you like a villain actively. I don't know what it's born out of, but it's this notion that like everyone is hypocritical. You asshole, how dare you say we should be kind to one another? F you. It's so cynical. It's so weird. I don't think people understand how ferocious the opposition to Mamdani will be if he's mayor. Republican and Democratic power brokers will unite to crush him and punish New Yorkers for voting for him. They can now allow someone with his position to be success and inspiration. There will be an all-out media and financial assault on Mamdani if he takes office. When Salvador Allende was president of Chile, Nixon said the U.S. had to make the economy scream. Something similar will happen in New York in a collaboration between Trump and the Dems. I can totally see that. But we will overcome it. Okay? We will overcome it. Guess mic noise gate is still low. Can hear people chatting in the background. Ignore me if this is low. It's not the guest mic. It's my mic, but they're just like talking behind me. So you're going to hear it while I'm in between conversations. I think it's because the entire American empire is built off lying to the people, so we don't think anyone can be kind and see cruelty as at least honest. Yeah. While urging Biden to rush bombs for Israel's genocide and voting for a $17 billion arms package for the apartheid state, Representative Richie Torres also secretly bought stock options in weapons giants Lockheed, Northrop, and L3Harris, the firm supplying Israel's arsenal. The trades were filed nearly a year later, far beyond the 45-day deadline under Stock Act, Sludge reports. All the while, Torres loudly opposed the ceasefire, joined Republicans to override Biden's brief pause on 2,000-pound bombs, and voted to sanction the ICC after it issued arrest warrants for Israeli leaders. Interesting. It's just so interesting to me. This guy's supposed to be a progressive, by the way. He ran as a progressive initially. How wonderful. This is the best we got, dude. It's crazy. Anyway, here's a beacon of hope from an unlikely place. Supposed to be a progressive, by the way. He ran as a progressive initially. How wonderful. This is the best we got, dude. It's crazy. Anyway, here's a beacon of hope from an unlikely place. Fox Business. Fox Business went out to New York City streets, and they wanted to find a single Gen Z person who didn't support socialists or Mamdani. They couldn't find a single person. Hell yeah.
As a generation, our values are very different than any other generation. We're kind of a socialist generation.
Honestly, don't know all the details. I do see myself more leaning on the Democratic side, so I know I can trust him.
Gen Z as a whole is just kind of a little bit upset with the like current hierarchies and hegemonies of power that are in place.
Rent freezes or government growth.
The audio is so ass, but it's not even just the audio is ass. It's not even just that the audio is ass, but it also has the same like weird guitar music that reminds me of like in the editing that reminds me of like an early 2000s TV show. Very strange.
Or free bus fare that you really like, that you really support.
Things like free bus fare I think are so important. So many people in New York use public transport. I am not someone who lives here personally, but I've used public transport.
I'm not super like politically informed. I mean, I like the idea of rent freezes. I like the idea of grocery stores being city owned.
some people would say, well, if you freeze rent,
go on the show,
developers aren't going to want to maintain and build new properties, and it's actually going to make the housing situation worse. What do you think about that? Is that a concern of yours?
Sure. I mean, there's definitely going to be pros and cons to everything. I think people are really tired of how high the rent's going, and I think just kind of seeing and kind of having new issues come about, but with a rent freeze, would almost be a welcome sight for a lot of us.
The net benefits outweigh the harms, because when people get housing, they'll contribute overall more to the economy, more to being able to work and have a stable living situation. We shouldn't be worried about the private companies who are profiting off of very expensive rents, and they're really upcharging for people who can't afford it anyways.
I also don't study this, but from what I feel, like I've never known landlords to be short of money.
Freezing rent and free.
Fox News will be like, this is the most horrifying thing we've ever encountered. And it's just a bunch of young people being like, yeah, everything sucks. The cost of living is completely out of control. And we need to do something, please. Like, someone please help us. And they're like, what the These kids want a Maoist purge, a landlord aside.
Bus fare and government-run grocery stores. Are those policies that are really attractive to you, and do you think they could work?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a way to get everything. Our current administration is trying to get tax write-offs for handling beds, so if they can do that, I think he can get, the money he wants if he really works for it, and it's what the people want.
We couldn't find a single person who didn't support socialism or Zohran Mamdani.
Oh my God, my family is back and in full swing. It is crazy. It is crazy in here. It's just like there's so much happening right next to me. Okay, right next to me. Well, even if they're right, your observation that American politics is all vibes seems to be proving true. Yeah. Americans have no decipherable the worldview, like no political movement that they can point to, and no ambition to learn more anyway. And the ones that do only learn the wrong lessons, and they learn to hate what they don't understand. All right.
His physical strength was weak also. He couldn't lift the weights. He needs to get out and have stronger policies and get into some exercises, because running this city is an extremely strenuous job. Let's see in the beginning.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who recent polls show trails Mamdani by nearly 20 percentage points, zeroed in on Mamdani's platform.
I think it would be a death knell for New York City, and he is dangerous, frankly.
Meantime, the Republican nominee, Curtis Sliwa, campaigned at the Feast of Santa Rosalia, that's in Bensonhurst. Sliwa sounded exasperated by the other candidates' stunts.
All the candidates were lifting weights. They were going on Easter egg hunts. I'm saying to myself, anything to distract the voters, right? Eating from a bag of potato chips. Talk about issues.